So I want to talk about Corona Bologna for a second. We all know that they're dead set in ushering in this second wave. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's appearing like it's going to be here sooner rather than later. What am I talking about? Well, let's take ourselves out of the new normal or even the new normal and put ourselves all the way back to a time when this wasn't on our minds. And that would be the first or second week of March. I uploaded this video. What it has to do with is a UFC press conference took place that weekend. Here, have a listen. So this past Friday, as UFC 248 approached, the UFC held a press conference, and the media was there trying to continue their scare tactics with the coronavirus. Here's what we saw.
All right. And then just lastly for Dana, South by Southwest, the Music and Arts Festival got canceled today because of the coronavirus outbreak. Any concerns? Anything that you guys can do to try to... Hey, it's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate question.
Corona's cool, but Montejo's better.
Legitimate question. I mean, it's got to be a little bit of a concern, right?
What's happening here? First off, this took place on Friday, March 7th, right before Saturday's UFC 248. And you had a press conference with Dana White and I believe at the time Tony Ferguson and maybe Justin Gaethje for an upcoming fight. And one of the reporters asked Dana White if he was scared of the coronavirus and having all these fans in attendance. And again, put yourself back at that time frame. No one was really worried about it. Well, you can hear by the fans' reactions, they wanted no part of it at the time. And it was quite the big deal, at least in the sports world. Well, fast forward a couple of days, and that's when the world changed. Here, I also uploaded this video, obviously on Wednesday, March 11th, which was the day everything changed. And you have to remember, again, they use sports as the vehicle to drive the entire madness that we know, coronavirus and the lockdown, by the Rudy Gobert situation.
You want to weigh in on this?
Well, I just wanted to clarify. So the video that you're seeing from Rudy Gobert was from a press conference on Monday where basically he said that he didn't believe that COVID-19 coronavirus was as serious or as big of a deal as everybody was making it. So he made a point of touching the microphones and kind of spreading his germs all over the press availability before he left. That's not for me to, dump on a guy who now is in the preliminary stages of dealing with the coronavirus. It's just to explain the video and also
You cannot make this stuff up. Okay, I've been a content creator for a while now. This is the most insane piece of video footage that I have ever uploaded. Can you comprehend what is happening right now? They're now saying that you have an NBA player on Monday, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, whatever, who was asked about the coronavirus. And he said what a majority of people are saying right now. I'm not worried about it. Hell, we were at 34 dead out of 7 billion people, whatever the number is. I'm not worried about it. I got a life to live. So he jokingly touches everything as to say, I'm going to spread my germs. And then somehow, some way, he just gets the coronavirus and now the media can scold him over it? You cannot make this shit up. Why am I bringing all this up? Well, it's happening again. The UFC had another press conference 2 days ago, and it has to do with their new Fight Island. You see, Dana White is one of the only sports guys that's still putting on live events. And he's created a new Fight Island in Abu Dhabi so that they can have international fights. So there was a 12-minute press conference where Dana was answering questions from reporters. And listen to the questions that they were asking him just 48 hours ago.
This is the hardest thing I've ever done. And there were a lot of powerful forces battling against us for it not to happen. And I don't wish that on anybody. I know everybody, thinks that I hate all these. I don't hate all these other groups. All these other groups need to survive for this thing to work for everybody. And you know, people getting laid off and losing their jobs, and no, I don't wish that on anybody ever.
This is somewhat of a depressing question, but the COVID numbers are sort of going up across the country. Do you guys have a contingency plan if there's another lockdown later this year?
Yeah, I told you guys going into this thing, I'm always thinking about what's next. And one of the frustrating parts about this whole thing is, you know, 4 months, I keep telling the story. I was telling it again this morning. 4 months ago, I could have told you anything about this business, where we were going, what was going to happen. I don't know. I don't know now. So all I do is sit around and strategize and try to plan. And I'm planning for a second shutdown, that it will happen again. I'm always thinking about the worst. What's the worst thing that it's like when you hear these guys talking about when they train, they like to put themselves in the worst positions they could possibly be in. You know, that's how I look at this business too. What is the worst position we could possibly be in? You know, and my number one goal is always possibly be in. You know, that's how I look at this business too. What is the worst position we could possibly be in? You know, and my number one goal is always, I don't want to lay off any of my employees, and I don't want fighters sitting inactive and not being able to compete. And you know, when you're a professional athlete, you have a very small window of opportunity, a very limited amount of time. You know, we get into all this money shit and the stuff that's going on right now. Everybody acts like this is a fucking career. This isn't a career. This is not a career. This is an opportunity. Anything can happen at any given moment. Knee can blow out. You're back. You're this. You're that. COVID-19. You know, who the hell knows what is coming down the pipeline? So you have to take every opportunity that you can get.
If there was a second lockdown in the United States of America, would it be possible that you could just move essentially the whole company to Abu Dhabi for like months at a time?
I don't know. Even Abu Dhabi shut down when this thing happened.
Is that one of the hardest challenges about this entire thing, is that it literally, you just can't plan? It's like you want to book Khabib, Gaethje.
I promise you this, if it can be done, I will do it.
Thanks, Dan.
If it can be done, I will.
And back on the COVID instances, in case there is another lockdown, have you been able to speak with the Nevada Commission at all to say, like, hey, this model that we've had here has worked, and would this be something that they would allow to keep in place?
It would be interesting to see.
Thank you.
Be interesting to see.
So there you have it, and you better pay attention because it's coming. The press would not be reporting and asking questions like that if it wasn't coming. That's how programming works. It doesn't matter that it's sports media either. I've proven that. That's why I laid this all out in this video. It does not matter either that we have proven this whole thing is bogus. How many times we've caught them in lies. It's 4 months later and you still don't know anyone in your personal life that had coronavirus. If you did, it's like a second cousin's aunt's person that washed their dog type of situation. It doesn't matter how many empty hospitals there were. It doesn't matter. We know what this is about. Yes, of course it's about the vaccine, but it's also, more importantly, about total universal population control. That's what this is about. So, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but figured you guys would want to know. It's coming.